Hi tubers, and welcome to part 4. Right, this wheel, we're working on this bike. You can see the state of the tyres. They're all perished up, cracked up. So I eventually got in touch with my mate Al and said, have you got any tyres? Good as gold. Yeah, he's got some. So what I'm going to do is going to take this front wheel off and fit the new tyre. Right, start off, bolt there, under that, other side, draw it through from there, and it should just drop out. Just got to undo the speedo cable here, which seems really tight. It doesn't look like it's threaded through properly. Right, so we've got that. Next thing, under that, draw the spindle. That's pretty simple. That's out now, just undone the 4 bolts. Now, do exactly the same. I've got 4 on here to split the rim. Took the valve out, so it's let the tyre down. We'll undo them, and that should just split apart. So, I carried on. Basically, you just reverse what you've just done and put it back together. Pretty basic. So, that's put back on. We can stick that back in there. We have discovered speedo drive is knackered. It has snapped. There you go. So we need a new speedo cable. Not a problem, as long as I can find one. So we're all back together and turned round, and Bill's come to see me. Bill's come to have a look at it from in the flesh.
Looking good, mate. Looking good.
Well, you reckon leave it as it is? Or
like
paint it. Or paint it, or run it rough?
No.
Just
leave that one as it is.
Is that because you don't want to do it?
I'll do it for you.
Nah, I think we'll just leave it as it is, with all its lumps and bumps. Right then, back wheel time. Swap the tyre on that. Undo your brake, there somewhere, I don't know, there. Disconnect that. Undo the big bolt, draw that out, drop the back wheel out, and then just do what we've done on the front tyre. Job done. I'll show you when we've done it. Right then, as you can see, back tyres on, front tyres on. So I'm struggling for what to do next. Now, I've got this plan. Whether it works or not remains to be seen. But if you look at that switch there, that looks like the one on the 25 quid bike we done. Now I'm just wondering whether the switch what was there will match up. So I've got the wiring, they're unplugged, and I'm going to go out and have a look on that white Honda Express thing we got and see if any of this will match up or anything. That way I haven't got to wait 2 weeks or so for the switch to come from China. So let me go outside and have a look what we've got, and I'll show you the switch on the other bike, which looks pretty much like that. Right, let me get on with that for a second. Right then, there's the switch that's on the Honda Express thing, or whatever it is, City Express. Now I'm wondering if that switch there will help me out. I've got this here. I'll just unplug that, which goes to that switch. So I think the best thing I can do, take that off. I know none of this here is right, because we've got a disc brake on the front one. But nothing a grinder couldn't just nip off if I needed to. We'll have a throttle, and we ain't waiting around. But I need to sort this lot out, see if it'll work. So I think that might be electric start button. for it. Oh, that one was. Come on, focus. I'm not sure that. No, that'd be the horn. And I think that one was electric start. So we won't need the wiring for that, just need the wiring for that top bit. So I'll take it off and we'll have a look around it. Right then, took the switch off and this is what's inside. Now looking at this on the Honda, the yellow with the red stripe and the green would have been live to the starter button. So we're not going to use them. But inside there, we've got a pink and white. And I'm going to have to clean in there to see what other colours we got. I think there's a brown with a white stripe and another colour. But until I undo this to see. And then we've got to try and match that up to this, which none of the colours match. So I'm going to go out, get the tester and start just testing wires and seeing what I can find out. But it might just work. And that's why I keep bikes like that white one just for spares. It might just get us out of the poo for a bit and paid for itself. Now I'm just scratching my head. I've been testing around on it, and I think the only thing I can do is start chopping ends off and putting the right ends on so it'll match up to that. Do something, get the bike, get the power to it and see what happens. May cause a few fuses to blow, but it's the only way I can see of doing it, is just sit out there and start prodding and see what happens. I don't even know if the lights work when the engine's not switched on, so that's another problem. Well, let's go and play. Right, got the battery back connected up and back to where we started. So ignition on, yep. Brake light, yep. So what I'm going to do, what I think's going on, is the orange and black would have been the starter for electric start. So I'm going to plug this back in, if it'll focus. Plug that back in once I've got the headlight out, and then start poking across these wires here and see if anything happens. At least I haven't got 12 volts running to anything else then. So I'll have this off, get that in, poke around, see if anything lights up. Right, I've had a diddle around with this wiring, and what I've found out, as if, come on focus, you connect the grey to the orange. When you turn the ignition on, you get the side light with the ignition and the back light, and when you pull the brake, that works. So that is working. I've also discovered if you use the brown wire here and connect that to the orange, you get high and low beam. So what I've got to try and work out is on the switch now, how can we make that work. I'm not sure what the rest of these other ones do, this red and black and this yellow, but if I touch it on the yellow wire, you get big sparks, so best not put them together. Right, let me have a play around again, but that's what I've discovered. Right then, here's what I've discovered. As you can see, we've got a mess. We've got these wires here, I don't know what they do, no idea, and we've got a bunch of wires there which I don't know what they do. But what happens now, the way I've wired it, is you turn the ignition on, headlight comes on, back tail light, pull the brake, well, where are you? Pull the brake, that works. Now, if I put the switch all the way over, It still stays the same, and brake light works. Switch up here, put that on, have headlight. I'll show you again. Put that on, headlight. Push it up again, we have high beam. There, the little light in there is showing that it's a high beam on. Low beam, high beam. I think we'll just have to go with that, because the back light's on as well, and delete what we don't need. If I turn the ignition off, it all goes off. Seems okay to me. So now I'm going to make some ends up and make this thing work. But I think I've cracked it. Bit of trial and error, a few sparks, but we got there. I'll put it back together, and I'll put the connectors on down here. There you go. Just mackled that switch on there, so we should be able to turn it on now. Oop, not connected the battery. Just let me connect the battery. Now I've connected the battery. We have the lights on there and there. We should be able to have indicators both sides. Yep. Flick this switch all the way across, brings the headlight on high beam, low beam, off. There we go, everything seems to be working. Right, where should we go next? I think we're better trying to start it, see what happens there, see if everything gets fizzle then. I'm going to have to get some fuel in it, get kicked over. Now we know all that's working, we can sort of start messing around with other stuff. It looks a mess at the minute because obviously it's got the wrong lever on here, because I haven't got a clutch cable to fit this one yet. So when the clutch cable gets sorted, that'll come off, that'll move down, and that'll be happy. Up here with this other switch, obviously this was just for testing purposes. When we get the other one, that'll go on, we'll swap the throttle, get a new throttle cable, and that'll be sweet. So where do we go next? Maybe actually fit this backlight properly. I'll have to take the mudguard off to do it the way it wants doing. I've put the chain guard on, just doing all this stuff just to tinker till we get it sorted. Cut the stand down because that was for the pit bike, got bigger wheels on it. It still wants about another ½ inch off, so it will lean over properly. It's still a bit straight at the minute. I have got a head exhaust stud that's not in there. I might have to JB weld one in there just to get it sorted. Generally, I'm really pleased with where we started from. Let me crack on, I'll bring you back as I move on. Right then, time to tidy up this wiring on the back end. I've started by putting all new ends on for the block connector. Now I'm just debating whether to put all these for the indicators in there as well and tidy all that up. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll show you as I go. Now I've got all new ends on all the wires. I can fit them into that block and that will tidy all that lot away. So yeah, it's a bit cold today, nose is running, but we're cracking on. Right, as you can see, I've done that with the block connector, wired it up. Now that should tuck up out the way up there, and once it's tucked up there, you won't really see it with the seat coming back to somewhere here. That's tidied all that up. Well, it will do when I've finished it. So yeah, things are going well. So it's another day in paradise. We tidied all that up yesterday, and today we're going to have a play around again. I did drop the fuel tank back in. Got a load of new fuel pipe. There you go. That's the easiest way to do it, is when you put the tank in, make sure you've got plenty you can feed through. That way saves a lot of hassle. So what shall I do today? I might just sit the seat on, see how it looks, see if it does cover that up. Right, let me get on with it. Let's get that seat put back on. As you can see, the seat's back on. Slip that back on. That's lovely. Does cover it. You can see, covers up where I've done the wiring. But I also found, when I was on eBay, come across a brand new seat for one of these. Black on the top, white on the sides, bit like the one down there on the Chalet. And for £28.50 delivered, I bought it. So I'm waiting for that to come as well. Waiting for parts as usual. Right then, these handlebars here, doesn't matter how much I tighten them up, they still wobble around. So I come up with this great idea of nicking the handlebars off the pit bike, which I did, as you can see. If I hold this down here, try not to break everything. Nick the risers off it, put these risers on, but the bar that goes across these when it was on the pit bike didn't fit. Spacing was wrong. I'd got some XL ones which I've put on. Now that has made it right. So I've got to take all this lot off, and we'll go with the motocross style handlebars on it. Just happen to be blue as well, sort of goes with the bike. So while I'm waiting for parts, I think that's what I'm going to do. Now I know everything fits, I'm going to take this off, get that cleaned up, get powder coated, and then we can deal with this lot after. Might be a bit wide, we can always trim them down a little bit, but I think they'll go pretty good. And them sort of handlebars are great for when you want to pop some wheelies, because you can pull on them good. So I'm going to crack on with that. Well, that wasn't too bad to get off, just a couple of nuts here and here, and here, and it's off. Well, clean that up, just degreased it, that'll do nicely. Powder coating guns out, over there waiting. Oven's on up the back of there. Let's get some powder on it and see how it turns out. Right then, got it running. Everything seems to be working right. We're showing voltage, and we rev it up. It's taking charge. Backlights on, headlights on, indicators working, other one. If we flick the switch across, put that switch forward, we have headlights and the tail lights on, high beam's working, see the light there, turn it off, there it goes, off. And brake light by the hand. That's the brake light on. And foot brake. There you go. All that seems to be working fine. Well happy. Well, that went quite easy. We just undone the nut, bolt, draw the spindle out. Job's a good one. Now we have 4 nuts here. We have to undo, drop the hub out, then that will leave us with the inner ones for the split rim. We undo them. Hopefully the rim comes apart and we can get the new tyre on. Right then, there we go. Powder coated, and it's come out pretty good from what we had. Let's turn it over. That was all rusty and all the rest. We've cleaned all that, powder coated it so that can go back on the bike. And I'm going to wrap this one now. That's my progress this week. So if you like what you're seeing, thumbs up, thumbs down, either way. Like, subscribe, it all helps me. I'm down, I'm gone.